bad experiences with that stuff. I've had weird guys. Like I had one guy, I went on a date with him, and then he was like, oh well, he's like, I don't have a car. And I was like, okay, well.
Here's the thing, if you're broke, just say that. Don't be mad at me for charging people for my time, materials, and effort.
I'm a horny old man. I'm 61 years old, and you have some big motherfucking titties.
Answer, dude. You always that shit. How long have you been fucking with them? How long? 3 years. 3 years?
Give me my keys, man.
3 years? You're in Mexico with your family?
What are you even doing here?
Don't worry about what the fuck I'm doing here. Answer. You were with your dad?
That's my husband. And if anybody fuck with him, they fuck with me. Tell him who you are. He nasty.
I've never had an off day in my life. I take all your women plus your wife. I make you dance in my beat all your life. Now you mad.
That's your husband? Now you mad.
Well, I caught you lying. You got mad.
I did.
Okay, and then and when you got mad, you went and fucked somebody else.
I was mad at me.
Okay, but you went and fucked somebody else.
I did.
Because you got caught lying.
Yes.
And now this person is now.
I was mad at me.
Now,
what do you think of dating apps? Like Tinder, I don't even know all of them out there. Bumble, it's a bunch of them. But what do you think about it?
So I don't think they're a bad thing. I've used them before, but honestly, like nowadays, like people don't look the way they look in pictures. Like some people are so photogenic, or like you get a lot of crazies. Like I went on a few dates, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like I don't even know. They've been crazy. Like you just mess with some weirdos. I feel like most people that are on dating apps, like they either like have some kind of like problem like interacting with people, or they just, most of them are married, or they have problems interacting with people, or something's always wrong with them, like, or they're cheating. Like definitely they're cheating.
You got any dating app like crazy stories that happened to you? Because you seem like you had some bad experience.
I've had some bad experiences with that stuff. I've had weird guys. Like I had one guy, I went on a date with him, and then he was like, oh well, he's like, I don't have a car. And I was like, okay, well, he's like I'm from out of town, I don't have a car. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And then like as soon as he got in the car, like he was like trying to bum off money off me, like asking me for money for cigarettes, and like I was just like, bro, just take it, like get out of my car, like just take it and get out of my car. Like it was embarrassing. But I've had some weirdos. Definitely.
That's what's up. What about you? We'll start with the girls first. What about you, Mariah? You use any dating apps?
Yes, I've actually been on dating apps for several years now, probably about 5 or 6 years. I've been on quite a few. And yeah, I mean, I like it better than meet people in person, but I mean, they're all right. But like she said, a lot of people come on there with issues and stuff like that. They're usually cheating. Like I'm the type of person, I'm kind of crazy. I'll go on their social media, find them on social media, and see if they got a girlfriend or not before I even start getting close to them or not. Because that's just how you got to be.
That's crazy. What a task for like finding a girl. What do you think? You think it's worth it going on these dating apps, or you rather meet them in person?
I've been on dating apps for a little minute too. I think you have more success meeting people in person. A lot of times dating apps, there's some weirdos on there. It's a lot of weirdos. I mean, not to say that I haven't met some good people from dating apps, because I have. But yeah, it's best to meet in person. But of course, you have to go out to meet people in person, which I haven't been doing that recently, so
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dating apps are bad, but a lot of people just ever since that whole, that COVID situation, like people just not going out as much. At least, in our state. I don't know how it is there. Are people going out on the west side, Deja, or what?
Yes, people go out. I go out all the time.
Okay.
I don't have a hard time meeting people though. Like, I mean, as long as you make eye contact or like you're trying to like meet somebody, like I've never had an issue with that. Like I'd much rather meet someone in person.
Word. Big dog oyster sauce. What you think about these dating apps, man?
I've had two experiences, not two experiences, but two separate times with them. Once was whenever I was doing, like selling dope and stuff like that. So it was a different crowd, So you're successful 100% of the time as far as the dating app is concerned, but you never know where that's going to go. But then whenever I cleaned my act up, I got a hold of this woman, got to talking to her. She was an engineer. Said she was an engineer in her bio. I said, okay, I know about some engineering, so we get to talking and stuff. She said, yeah, let's go to the zoo. We went to the zoo. We went to dinner. Everything's going good. And it was kind of warm outside. I had like a sweater on, and I pulled up my sleeve. I pulled up my sleeve a little bit, and she looked at it and she goes, let me ask you. She said, are you a felon? And I was like, yeah. She was like, I work for Lockheed Martin and I work for the government. She's like, I'm a defense engineer. She goes, I have to report this. I'm sorry. It was going great too. Everything was going fantastic. You know what I mean? And she's like, I have to report this.
Damn.
Yeah, she just shut me down right there. She paid for dinner though, because she felt bad.
Damn.
Yeah. And that was the last time. That was on Plenty of Fish. That's how it tells you how long ago this was.
Oh yeah. Them girls on Plenty of Fish rough. That's them damn tunas on that motherfucker, bro.
Hey,
Don't be going. Hey.
Trucks.
All right, what's the best dating app? Let's just go ahead and put it out there for the fella. We'll go ahead and say the worst one is Facebook dating. Facebook dating, boy. Hey.
Yeah, that's
where you see them crazy. Hey, you'll find some crazy people on there. I know y'all see some crazy dudes on there. Let's be real, girls. If y'all on Facebook dating, y'all probably swipe on a bunch of Tyrones, a bunch of Pookies. That's probably what you see on there. I ask you, Mariah, like, will you swipe?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy people on there, for real.
Would y'all say that, like, do y'all think Bumble is safe? I don't know if y'all use that.
Yeah, I've used Bumble in the past. I don't use it anymore, but I've used it in the past, and I've had success from Bumble.
Hell.
Yeah.
Taz, you've had a lot of success in your life. Are you a pimp? Huh?
I took a lot of L's too. With success comes L's too.
Well, you know what? We'll move on to something that I talked about this before I started bringing people on. You have children, Taz, and
you said what?
I said you have children, and I wanted to ask.
Don't say children, just say that's plural. I have a child.
A child, yeah. So,
yeah.
So I don't think nobody else in here has one, and I was asking, this whole single mom, whether you should date single moms. Do you think it's any riskier dating a single mom than a girl without a kid? Like, why do guys shy away from single moms? Where does that whole thing come from, in your opinion?
Well, it's a lot that goes in factor, because most of the time, when you date a single mom, of course, a man, they wants to, like, especially if they looking for a relationship to go to the next level. Of course, you want to be, when you're going for marriage, marriage is like, the most covenant thing that you're supposed to be go through. I mean, marriage is kind of like a joke nowadays, but a woman with kids, they tend to, they're gonna with the kid, it's kind of hard to explain, but at the same time it's not, because a lot of times that, okay, let me just go off of my
All right, yeah.
I've dated a lot of single mothers. So a lot of times, you know, of course, the child comes first and all of that. And then at the same time, a kid doesn't, like if a kid acts out or something like that, you can't do anything. You can't correct the child at all.
Dang, really?
Telling you, man, the single mothers, man, they don't want you correcting their child. None of that stuff.
Damn.
It's a huge problem if you're trying to correct their child when they're in the wrong. And then a lot of men really can't deal with that because, especially if you're, you know, somebody that, you know, you're doing for the kid, but you can't correct the child. Like you like, okay, so I can do all of these things where I can pay for food. I can put clothes on the kid's back. I can do this. I can do that. But if you mean to tell me I can't discipline the child when the child is in the wrong, and I'm not talking about I'm not talking like beating the crap out of the child. I'm just talking about just straight discipline when the child is in the wrong. And you can't do that, then that's a problem. And a lot of men really try to shy away from that because they don't want to deal with that whole aspect.
Dang. What about you? I guess we'll go to oyster sauce. Oyster sauce. What do you think? Do you think it's worth it to shy away from single moms, or you think it's, you know, it's no big deal at all?
I think that people are incredibly different, and you may meet a woman and her children are fantastic. And I've met women before that I still talk to their children and I don't talk to them. But that was like a one-off or a two-off. It wasn't the standard. It's rough. Like you said, it's really rough. It's you can become really resentful really quick with a child that isn't appreciative of what you do, especially if you're working for something. You know what I mean? Yeah, that can get old really, really, really quick. But my rule is, personally, as far as single mothers are concerned, is she taking care? Can you take care of your kids before I got here? Right? That's my rule. If you don't have it together when I get here, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take that on. But if you got it together, and I'm not saying that you're living off child support, I'm going to know if you're living off child support. I'm not stupid. You shouldn't be at home at 11 a.m. every day. You know what I mean? I'm not dumb, right? I'm going to know if you got it together. If you're just living off child support, I'm not going to be the next victim.
Now, we'll dig a little deeper in that. You said that sometimes the children are not appreciative. See, I've never dated a single mom, but if the children are not appreciative, then it has to be rough in that situation. Because what are they doing? Like, you'll try to like do something for them and they'll be like, you're not my dad, or is that kind of the stuff that they...
There's ones where it's tense all the time, where they openly don't like you and they'll just let you know that. Yeah, I've had children, I've had young men like that before.
Dang.
Openly don't like you. Yeah, that happens.
I've never had to deal with that because I'm a pretty fun guy to be around. I've never had to deal with a kid that was openly like, oh yeah, that didn't like me. It's just you know, with the mother, it's just that when the kid is in the wrong, you know what I'm saying, they don't want you to do anything with the child, even though you're doing everything else. And that could be a problem.
All right. Well,
I say something. That's the thing. That's the problem. That's why the kid don't, because I don't care. I speak up in front of him. I speak up in front of him, in front of her. You better do something. I'll tell her, I'll address it and say, that's a problem that you need to stop now. And then obviously me and her didn't work out, right? Or me and the kid didn't work out. Me and whoever didn't work out, you know.
It will both.
Yeah.
Shoot, bro. Like, I'll say this and I'll move on to the ladies and ask them about what they think. But so if it's this difficult, would y'all say that it's even worth pursuing? I mean, if you got kids, it's different. But let's say a guy doesn't have kids, young guy, 25. Would y'all recommend he pursues a single mom or just stray away from them?
Hell no.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. A single man, 25. Nah, he stay far away from the single mothers because it's gonna be more headache than anything. You need to stay away.
Dang. Now, we'll start with Mariah on this. How do y'all feel about single fathers? Like, I've never looked at the other side of it. When y'all meet a guy and he got kids, is that a negative at all, or what?
No, I take the kid in as my own. Honestly, it's more so if they're still messing with their baby mama. Honestly.
So it's more so the connection between him and the baby mama. Now, are baby mamas hard to deal with? Like, what do they do? Try to get involved or something?
Most of them do. Some of them are just real chill, and then the others will be like, "Oh, you messing with my baby daddy, we gonna fight," like type thing.
Dang. What about you, Deja? What you think about that?
I have no issue with single fathers. I actually admire single fathers. Like, I think that takes a lot for a dad to step up and take care of their child. Like, I am all for it. Like, I have dated somebody with children, and I had no issue. Like, I actually dated a woman, a single mother, and I raised that baby for almost 2.5 years, and I took that baby in like my own, and I had no issue whatsoever. That baby was the greatest, but I raised this baby from when they were, only a year old. So I didn't have to deal with the whole, like the baby being resentful or like talking back to me or anything like that. But yeah, I had no issue with it. I love single mothers, and I think it takes a lot of courage, and I look up to single mothers a lot, because they have to have they have to be strong. They have to be very strong to raise a child, and for them to be doing it alone, I admire that. So if in my opinion, I would date a single mother or a single father. It's so attractive to me.
Now, and I'll say this, like, if y'all break up with the single mother or single father, the connection between the kid, like, what happens with that? Like, do you usually still stay in the child's life, or is it just like, oh, we broke up, I know you've been raising this kid for 7 years, but y'all got to stop being cool? Like, how does that even work, especially with you, Dave?
I'm still in that baby's life. That baby still they send me cards. I send that baby money every birthday, every holiday. I send that baby money. Yeah, they're still in my life. Like, the baby is 8 years old now. And I'm still very involved. The baby doesn't have anything to, like, it's not the baby's fault, that it didn't work out. So I still stay in contact with that baby, and that baby remembers me. The baby still talks to me, calls me all the time, and it's a great relationship.
What about you? Now we're going oyster sauce. What about you? Do you still stay in contact with that kid that was going crazy or whatever?
No, the one that was going crazy, the one that hated me, hell no. I don't talk to her or him. Hell no. I don't know what happened to him. No. It ended badly. That one ended badly.
What about you, Taz? When you break up with a single mom, do you just cut off the kid, or what? What do you think?
Well, initially, when I was younger, no, I didn't. I wanted, because when you with the child, basically from the practically when they born, you know what I'm saying, you want to still have that connection. But in order for me, in order for me to move on with my life and stop coming back to the woman, because really the child is really the only connection, because you feel such a strong connection to to the child, because you basically kind of raised the child. I had to cut off the communication with the child, because I was just finding myself just being around the mother just for the child, and I couldn't move on with my life, so I had to.
Facts. Now I guess we'll move on to this. This is for the ladies now. This is something that I personally want to know. A subscriber asked this, but I want to know this too. All my life growing up, all the nerdy guys got no play. They barely could get a date. Taz, you went to GW, right?
No, I actually went to Galileo.
You went to Galileo? Okay. Well, at least where I went to Chatham, the nerdy guys really got no play. But the dudes that was held back, they was like 20 in the daggone high school. They was smashing everything. And I'm like, girls, why do y'all go after these like Tyrone Pookies, hood ninjas? Why do girls go after the bad boys? I guess we'll start with Deja. Why does it seem like girls go after the bad boy, the thug, instead of like the smart guy?
I think a lot of girls are about looks. But personally, I'm not. I love nerdy guys. I think it's very, very attractive when a guy can hold a conversation. I don't know. I'm just me, speaking on my behalf. I think nerdy guys are just the cutest things in the world. I would totally date a nerdy guy. But I don't know. I think when I was younger, I did go more for the looks. But as I've gotten older, I prefer the nerdy guys. I think they're cute.
Well, the guy that asked this, go ahead, bro.
You a unicorn.
Unicorn.
Yeah, she a unicorn.
That's facts. Now, the guy that asked this question, and he's nerdy, like I know him and all that. Mm-hmm. What tips can you give a nerdy guy? Like, okay, if he's not getting girls, he has money, he makes 6 figures. This guy is like loaded. So I'm like, I don't know what advice to give him. What advice as a girl can you give him to get women? Because he's like, he'll meet up with women. He'll be like, hey, like, why, like, let's go on a date, blah, blah, blah. And it seems to never work out. What could you say that nerds do wrong that they could change? Is it the confidence thing or what? Like, what do you think they can improve on?
They can improve. I feel like, okay, a lot of times that I talk to nerdy guys, they try so hard to change themselves. And I don't like that. Like, just be yourself. Like, dorky is cute. Yeah, like a lot of them pretend to be something that they're not. And that's honestly what turns me off. When I know you're dorky and like, if I know you're nerdy, just be yourself. Come up, like the confidence thing is definitely a huge thing for me. You can be like not so attractive and still come up and talk to me, and I'll still hold a conversation with you. I think it's more the confidence. If you're nerdy and stuff and you come up to me and try to talk to me, I'm definitely gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna turn my back on you just because you're nerdy. Yeah, I think it's mostly the confidence, definitely.